Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making an English pea casserole. I'm just going to be making half a recipe. It's just Doug and me today. And so if you want more or need more, you can double or triple the recipe. Let me tell you something real quickly about this recipe. I was going through some recipe books that I received when Mama passed, and the recipe books were handed down to me, and I found this English pea casserole, and I looked and it had my aunt's name on it. Her name was Fannie Mae, and she was my mother's oldest brother's wife. So Diane and Larry, if you're watching this video today, your mother put this recipe in that book, and you probably grew up on it. Diane and Larry are my first cousins, and I love them dearly. So let's make this English casserole dish today in honor of my Aunt Fannie Mae, because it was her recipe. I'm starting out with, remember, I'm making half the recipe. So I'm using 1 can of very young and tender English peas, or sweet peas. This is a 15.25 ounce can of sweet peas, or English peas, whatever you want to call them. And I'm going to use just a half a can, 10.5 can of cream of celery soup. Now you could use cream of mushroom soup if you wanted to use that. I think her recipe may have called for that, but I like cream of celery, so I'm substituting, and I'm going to use 1/2 can of that. I'm going to use 1/2 stick of butter, which is 1/4 cup. And when I cut this, I cut it crooked. And let me just tell you as a side note, my mother, or my mama, I don't know why I said mother, I call her mama. My mama always said, when something was crooked, she said, well, you must have slept crooked in the bed last night, whatever that meant. But anyway, 1/2 stick or 1/4 cup of butter. And then I'll put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And then we're going to top it with cheese. I'm using cheddar cheese. I've grated that. I have about 3/4 of a cup. Looks like more, and it may be. And then I'll use a half a sleeve of Ritz crackers, which is about 15 Ritz crackers. And I'll crumble those. But let me tell you something else about Aunt Fannie Mae's recipe. Hers called for saltines, some crumbled saltines. And you know what that tells me? Back in the day, they didn't have Ritz crackers, and they didn't have other buttery round crackers. They used what they had. And so I bet saltines would be good on this too. So if you don't have any Ritz crackers and you want to make this recipe, just crumble up some saltine crackers. So let's make this English pea casserole together. I have preheated our oven to 350 degrees. And I opened and drained our English peas. See how small and tiny they are? They look so delicious. I also melted our butter. Remember, we had 1/2 stick or 1/4 cup of butter. I'm just going to pour that over the peas. I'm going to add some salt, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper to the peas. Going to stir that around, and because I'm using the butter, you don't need to spray your casserole dish or your baking dish. So just mix this around. And now it's ready to go in the baking dish. I'm using an 8x8 today. And I'm just going to pour the peas in. I had a smaller dish that I had planned to use, but I didn't think that it would quite hold everything, and it'd be coming out of the top, and I didn't want that. So I just spread the peas out. And next comes our soup. Remember, I'm substituting and using cream of celery soup. You could use cream of mushroom. And I'm going to be using 1/2 of this can because I'm just making a half a recipe. That looks like about half. So let's just spread this out. You could just mix this together, but I'm trying to do it kind of like she did it. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to melt and blend down and get down in the peas as it cooks. So just spreading that out. And like I said, you probably could just mix this together. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I have crumbled our Ritz crackers. I have 15 crackers here that I have crumbled. And today I'm going to add my grated cheese to the carrots. A lot of times I'll just put a little bit of butter with the crackers, and maybe I'll put the cheese on top of the peas or whatever I'm making, and then I'll top it with buttery crackers that I have crushed and added some melted butter to. But today I'm just mixing the cheese and the crackers. So now we're going to spread this over the top, and I'm just going to pour it in. See how quick and easy this is? It is unbelievable. But I guess it's not unbelievable to you, because by now you have figured out that Joyce's recipes are simple and quick and easy. I told someone the other day, if it's not simple and easy, then I don't want to have anything to do with it. And there you go. It's ready to go in the oven. We'll cook it for about 30-35 minutes. We just want it to get hot through and through. And when it does, we'll come back and we'll look at it and we'll sample it. Our casserole has baked for 30 minutes. If I had doubled the recipe or made a full recipe, then I probably would have cooked it a little bit longer, but I would have had it in a larger container or baking dish as well. So it's ready to come out of the oven, and I am anxious to try it. So I'm going to let it rest for a little while and cool off, and then we'll be back and we'll taste it. Okay, let's try this English pea casserole. Oh, I know it's going to be good. Oh, that cheese. Look at that. I can hear the crunch of those crackers and that cheese blended together. Look, I'm ready to get into it. So let's try it. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. Thank you for helping me make Aunt Fannie Mae's English pea casserole, and it looks delicious. And I would just say that if you love English peas and you love cream of celery soup, crackers, and cheese, then this will be something that you'll want to try. So now let's try it. Look at there. It is pretty, isn't it? I love a good casserole, something you can just throw together and have as a side dish and move on. Those flavors blend really well together. Don't forget to share my video, if you will, please. It helps us out and helps others to be able to see it. I hope you have a blessed week, and I'll see you again really, really soon.